Hey, me, Makari. You join Discord and Twitch. Hey, thanks, bye. Hello there, YouTube. Seeing as we've been in a bit of an anime stint recently, what with Sword Art Online and Bridge having been a big part of our channel, this video was kind of recommended to me as a sort of tangential watching experience to try and validate our immense degeneracy. So this is Anime Has Gone Too Far. It's a tiny bit of an old video, it came out last year, but apparently it describes the type of source that anime has been causing us over the last couple of decades. So let's sit back, watch, and see how much this calls us out for our degeneracy. Yeah? Cool.
Why? Why? Why was this made?
What
Fan service.
is the limit for anime?
None. Absolutely none. Anime has no limit. If Flash gets proved anything, fan service panders to the lowest form of anime panders to the lowest demographic of terminally online individuals who have no concept of how to talk to a woman, and those who just want to escape to their fantasy, and those who are so self-aware of their degeneracy that they don't care. That's me, baby. That's me. Why would I want real life when I have anime?
A medium that continually pushes the boundary of wonder. A place that welcomes all types of stories from all types of people. There's no limit to what you can see here aside from your own imagination. If you can envision it, it can get made.
Absolutely, goddamnly. And listen, for every one fan servicey type anime, there's equal amounts of also epic animes. And really, it's about where you lie in that spectrum, I feel. Like, sometimes I'll want to watch an anime like Konosuba or High School DxD because, you know, sometimes I just want to look at some anime boobs. Now, as to how self-aware they are, like, I love a good fan servicey anime when they're self-aware, self-referential, where they literally don't give a damn. But the ones that kind of want to try and keep themselves serious, but then put in shit tons of fan service and pretend like there's a story, don't try and beat around the bush. No, don't even try. Own that shit. Own the degeneracy. Own the fact that you're pandering to the gooners.
But, like the inventor of a fart machine in a wind tunnel, have we ever stopped and asked, should it get made? Interspecies reviewers.
Yeah,
Well
that's
Done
my
Harry,
anime.
Redo of Healer. Anime has been pushing degeneracy to a whole new...
I'm going to point it out there. Fun story. I host regular community movie nights, and somebody suggested we watch Interspecies Reviewer. Here's the thing. My Discord is a partnered server. I'm not allowed to have that kind of stuff on my channel, and I thought this was just a sort of slightly degenerate one. We got through the first episode, I was like, that's definitely some boobs. Nobody told me it was a literal hentai. It was the one anime that you would legitimately watch for the plot. Like, there are a lot of hentais out there that border the line of just being pure smut, but there are also a lot of animes out there that actually have great plot. Like, I don't know if you guys ever watched Bible Black or Viper GTS, Blah Blue Girl. There are actually a lot of like that meme. You watch porn for the plot. Real world porn never really applies. You never watch real porn for the plot. But some of these hentais have better plot and better art styles than a lot of actual anime out there. I'm really exposing myself here, aren't I?
level in the past few years. In a post-redo of Healer world, there is little now that separates anime from hentai. Every day, the line gets more and more blurry, so the question...
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about blurry. I think the studios are just doing a better job of making things a bit more ambiguous and kind of smother it. Like, it's not that the line is becoming more blurry, it's that the people watching anime are becoming less... they're becoming more desensitized, which I suppose is the same thing, but the thing is, the people who watch anime, even the people who watch, like, your soppy romance anime, the people who watch the epic fight animes, your shonins, your Dragon Ball Zs, everyone who watches anime has the same thing in common. They want escapism. They want something that does not pertain to the real world. Anime, like he said, is a fantasy. You wouldn't want to watch an anime that was a hyper-realistic depiction of real life. There has to be something in there, because that's the entire point of anime, is that it takes the concepts of our reality and turns them on their head. And it's only natural that being the, and this is where we get into the philosophical side of things, we as humans, sex is part of our life. We enjoy, a lot of people enjoy the perverse. Not everyone, of course, but the ideology stands that if you are somebody who has a more sexually active mind, and anime is one of those things that helps you explore that kind of fantasy, no surprise that anime is one of those things. It's why anime is so centric to our society these days. Because much like Western cartoons, anime is that thing that spans the spectrum of subjects and content types. So for those of us who are looking for that fantasy escape, anime is the best thing for that. And yes, you can say that about Western animation as well. The problem with Western animation is it's hindered by Western stereotypes. Although you do get these kind of things with especially like fan animations. In like mainstream Western animation, you very rarely get mainline Western animation shows that border these subjects of perversity and degeneracy. And I suppose that's more indicative of the fact that Japan is just a lot more open with sexuality and that kind of jazz. They're not as like restrictive. In some respects, they are even more restrictive, but it's that cultural difference. Anime being progenerated from the West, from sort of the Japanese culture, is a bit of a shock to people who have been exposed to Western animation their entire lives. And yeah, there are some examples of that kind of stuff. There's always been perversity in cartoons and stuff. But it's much more prolific within Japanese culture. Anyway, rambling. Sorry, that's just my thoughts on things.
Plaguing humanity since the beginning of time is, how far can anime go?
I think there is a
Ladies and
limit.
gentlemen, I present to you my life as Inukai's dog. Anime has gone too far. But how could it? What could it possibly do? Well, you see, we have now ventured to a place for which there is no coming back.
So, there's a fun little thought experiment here. How you determine how far something can go is how far it goes down the gratuity line. Something down this end is going to be safe. It's going to be very all of the art style is going to be focused on the story. Every article of clothing is going to be well thought out to be restrained, and any kind of like sexual content is for the most part reserved. And then the further down this line you go, the more the animation and the shot types start pandering to that gratuitous fan service. By the time you get to around here, you'll find that all of the camera shots are suddenly very low angled. All of the females are unnecessarily curvy and all wearing excessively short skirts for no apparent reason. Yeah, that's very much the how you derive the anime's degeneracy, I guess.
Back from. Tread on the sanctity of something we should have never dared touch. Dogs. Not genetically engineered dog girl.
Furries. Which, that's another subject that goes down the avenue of the modern world we live in. If anything, and I'll leave it at this, if anything, anime is a reflection of our modern world. It is a reflection of how we as people have grown to be more open and more expressive, and how we have way more mediums to express sexuality, expressivity, and all that kind of jazz. As I said, sex is a very big part of our life. And there's a lot of parts of the world that try to see that as a bad thing. But in reality, we are very much creatures based around sex and sexuality. But whether you are somebody who kind of leans on that, or whether you're somebody who tries to use that more as a pretense, kind of depends on the person by person basis. And where you live in the world very much bases on how much that kind of cultural influence how to word it? How much the culture you're part of affects how much you're exposed to sexuality and how much you embrace sexuality.
not fantasy isekai dog people species, not some guy wearing a dog costume. Just dogs. Why did it have to be dogs? What did dogs do to deserve this?
Because those who watch this will say, yes, I am watching a cultured anime about dogs. What do you mean? No, I'm not watching this for the upskirts and the unnecessary gratuitous fan service. What are you, crazy? It's plausible deniability. That took me way too long to remember what that phrase was. You have plausible deniability. When your mum walks in on you watching this, your mum's gonna be like, you can't be watching hentai. You gotta be doing your homework. But mum, I'm watching this about the dog. The fact you think it's a hentai? No, mum. Have you not seen it's an anime about a dog? Yeah. Yeah, plausible deniability.
Best friend, the purest thing Mother Earth has gifted us with. If you've ever thought humans don't deserve dogs, here is the evidence to prove that you are categorically correct. This is a cursed show I probably should have left to die in obscurity until I had a single terrifying thought that dwarfed any existential horror or Lovecraftian nightmare my mind could come up with. Somehow, somewhere, this is gonna be someone's first anime. So, to
He's not wrong. I should know, because I had this exact experience myself. Everybody who's ever gotten into, like, anime remembers their first hentai. Likewise, I remember my first yaoi. There I was, reading Inuyasha.
hello
There I was, watching Hellsing. And then there was the scene in Hellsing where Ceres Victoria gets groped. And I'm like, damn, she's hot. So I go onto Google and I search up Ceres Victoria. And I'm like, oh god, that's so cool. And then in the bottom corner, there's a picture of Ceres Victoria naked. And I'm like, wait, what? Wait, you can have... what? And that opens the floodgates. Everybody remembers their first exposure to hentai. Everyone remembers their first ecchi, their first yaoi. Chobits. Chobits is all I'll say. Wardog, thank you for the
to
resub.
allow myself to sleep at night, I felt it was my duty to make a PSA to tell that person, shh, it's okay. It's alright. I can't promise that tomorrow's gonna be a better day, but I can promise you that we're gonna get through it together.
This is why we as a species need to do our best to guide the ignorant and the uneducated. Because it's not fair that some people's first exposure to anime is going to be interspecies reviewer. They're going to set their entire precedent to think that every single anime is going to be that way. And now, this gets a little bit political, because I have a vested interest in this. Because motherfuckers who watch interspecies reviewer as their first anime are going to come onto Twitch and they're going to have their expectation of every anime character to be that of interspecies reviewer. These are the kind of motherfuckers that come into my stream and are like, hey, baby, flash your titties, shake your booty, do the thing, do the interspecies review thing. These are the kind of pieces of shit I gotta ban. And sometimes I sit there and think, are they just that stupid or are they ignorant? We have to educate the uneducated so that they don't spread their goonery unnecessarily, so they understand a filter, so they understand appropriativity of anime. That not every anime enjoyer is going to enjoy interspecies reviewer.
I've committed to fully talking about this anime, but first I need to talk about today's sponsor, Higan Yuruthil. I've never been more happy for a sponsor read in my life. In this 3D real-time combat RPG, players are tasked with reclaiming reality from a never-ending nightmare, like this show. Guys, maybe the anime man was onto something. Who actually needs to watch anime anymore when you can just play it?
Exactly, that's me playing Zenless Zone.
Stories that's presented by gorgeous 3D anime-esque cutscenes with popular voice actors, including Yui Ogara, Mamiko Noto, Nana Mizuki, and more. You got some.
I'm sure if I knew the characters from Genshin Impact more, I would recognize who those were.
I'm like Issa, an absolute ice queen. I
Issa?
can already tell this girl exudes my energy. What makes me say that?
Excuse? Did they steal my character's name?
The secret between Issa and her teammates are in Higan Yuruthil. Now let's talk about this gameplay. You have 3D real-time combat, high-quality 2D and 3D modeling, employing tactics and bullet time. I'm
sorry, this just looks like Genshin Impact. if you told me, hey guys, the new Genshin Impact update dropped and showed me this, I'd be like, wow, that's a damn, those Genshin characters.
Those are just words. I don't need to say anything. Just have a look at how beautiful it all comes together with music that bangs. Bangs. All comes together with music that bangs. Music that bangs. Music that bangs. Do I need to say any more? Discover the story behind all these characters. Start your adventure with Higan Uruthill today by clicking the link in the description to download it. And you have 100...
You know, I'm gonna make a comment about anime games. Anime is very generic. Rather, the anime style. So it's very hard for an anime to differentiate itself because everything has to correlate or like revolve around a certain style to be considered anime. I love animes that try to break the mold and don't just adhere to being the most stereotypical, cliche-looking thing imaginable. Like, my comment earlier about this looking like Genshin is more indicative of the fact of how samey everything looks. I respect an anime a lot when they try and do something to differentiate themselves. That's why Zenless Zone to me is an amazing experience, because the animation quality by itself differentiates it from almost every other anime game out there. And that idea of self-awareness kind of pans into these games as well. Because, hey, look, if you've ever played Nikke, Goddess of Victory, sometimes I just want to have a game about anime waifus where the plot is there, but it's not going to be my focus.
Chance to get the powerful SSR media. Also, you can use my code in the description.
That's kind of the thing with anime in general.
Rewards in Higan Uruthill. Thank you very
with
much
Western
for
culture,
me
the
today,
story usually has to be good, because that's what we've been taught to believe.
To my life
but anime, you can take that focus and put it anywhere else.
Dog fact number 1. Dogs have 18 muscles to move their ears. In some ways, it's impressive that a show could give a man who's seen Redo of Healer, who likes Domestic Girlfriend, who's seen some of the most degenerate shit that's come out of anime, the chance to say, you know what? I think I have the moral high ground. The plot goes something like
Maybe we should watch Escapism's review on the other Discord.
A guy wakes up cold and shivering on the streets. How did he get there? What is he doing? All questions that are unimportant because he sees his classmate and crush who takes him home where he comes to the...
Here's the thing, and no one's going to prove me wrong on this. People who get into VTubing based on, like, there are VTubers out there who will sacrifice all of their dignity and base their entire character model off of the most perverted hentai imaginable, because they know that if they make a model that is busty and cliche-ly anime, that there will be people out there that will goon for it. So a lot of these metrics that I judge an anime by, I also judge VTubers by. How much of your personality are you willing to sell versus how much of your titties are you willing to sell? Because there is a fine balance. And based on that balance you strike will depend on how I consume your content. If you're a VTuber or an anime that makes boobs the entire selling point, awesome. I'm never going to knock you for that. But there's a very different reason I'll be watching your stream versus those who actually have a personality and don't sacrifice entertainment for the sake of a quick jerk-off moment.
The realization to the precarious situation he's in. He is a dog.
Wow.
When I first saw the
what I'm saying
basic
is
premise
there's
of
a good
this,
balance,
I said to myself,
right?
oh cool, some dumb
Ken
slice
Bar,
of
thank
life
you, Resub.
reincarnation story where a guy wakes up as a dog. I'm a seasoned isekai fan. I've seen worse. It can't be dumber than...
The isekais. I hate isekais. They're so done to death, and there's a new one coming out where it's a fucking hideous-looking office worker that's basically on a list of some kind, and he gets reincarnated as a waifu and spends the entire game catfishing people.
Waking up as a sword or waking up as a vending machine. Maybe they'll tackle the human struggles of trying to live as a dog. Maybe the psychological effects of being stuck in a dog's body, having to navigate a society made by humans, having your daily survival be completely reliant on that of another human being. There's a...
Guarantee you, and if anyone's seen this, you can confirm this for me. I guarantee you, there is obviously going to be multiple shots in this anime of the dog sniffing girl butt. And I just know that.
a lot of places this story could go. Surely, it's not about a bunch of girls thirsting over a dog. I regret to inform you that my initial assessment was incorrect. Within the first 5
Sometimes
minutes
anime
of taking
just,
the
you
dog
don't,
home, the first
sometimes
thing
you just don't have to, it's not that deep, bro. It's not that deep. Sometimes what you get is on the tin. You know, sometimes it just is that way.
And Inukai decides
The
to do,
expectations
yes, her name is
versus
Karen,
reality.
which is very on theme because I'm about to call the manager, is get undressed in front of the doggo and bathe with it. Naked. But okay, this isn't too bad. There might be some dog owners who feel comfortable removing their clothes in front of their dog, showering with their dog, sucking their dog's nose.
What?
Maybe this could be wholesome, if wholesome was spelt without a W. But it soon becomes apparent that her feeling towards the dog are a little
And why a
devious.
corgi?
Oh yes, so very devious towards the dog.
It could have
Yes,
been
this is
me.
my coping
It could.
mechanism
The only
to
crime
right
here is
now.
it could
She
have
takes
been
her
me.
dog for a walk, but it's
It
feeling a
could
little
have been
devious.
me.
Okay, I'll stop now. And almost immediately tries licking the pup over, went for some meddling kids, gets way too excited photographing a dog urinate, then introduces him.
What? What the fuck? I can't believe I'm about to say this. This is as bad as Boku no Pico. Like, what the fuck? What is wrong with the Japanese? Okay, you know, I answered my own question.
Him to a place called Coochie Cove. I've seen people dressed up in a red astronaut suit that are less sus than this girl right here. Now, if you think finding out a dog has more riz than you will ever do is sad, don't worry. That's actually one of the least depressing parts of this show. In no particular order, here are some things depicted in My Life as Inukai's Dog that involves a girl and a dog. Bathing naked, tail jobs, seductive feet licking.
It goes so much deeper than what I thought. I thought that a dog sniffing her butt would be the worst of it. Oh my... Hey chat, are we cooked? Are we cooked as a society? Are we as humans cooked? I think we're cooked.
Getting a dog to undress you, getting a dog to lick your chamber of secrets, enticing a dog with your chamber...
Japan? That's just bestiality! You can't slap at something... If it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, smells like a duck, then motherfucker, it's a duck. You can't slap an anime skin on and say, oh, it's just quirky. It's just quirky. Bitch, people who would do this in the 70s would be sent to an asylum.
Chamber of secrets, giving a dog a ball gag, breastfeeding.
Now, listen. I'm absolutely okay with all of these tags when it involves humans, when it involves creatures of anthropomorphic tendencies, not a fucking dog. Ugh! Japan!
What have we become? How did we get here?
I would like to make a quote from Game Grumps. You know, you wake up in the morning and you question yourself, what am I willing to put up with today? Japan? I'm not willing to put up with this. Not this! This is just bullshit!
Some of these acts are in the anime, some further on in the manga. Yes, that's right. I read further into the
Oh god, and all of us know that the mangas are always way more unhinged than the anime. Always. Like, if you ever want the best example of that, go and watch the Pokemon. Go and watch Pokemon, and then go and read the manga. The Pokemon manga is absolutely deranged in some states.
manga. Don't ask me what force compelled me to do so, because I still don't know myself. Maybe I wanted to see how much worse it could get. Maybe I'm learning deep down inside I have masochistic tendencies. Maybe I was waiting for some divine intervention, because if I could ask a higher power anything, if there was one thing I would like to know.
Literally, it's all a case of pulling the ripcord and escalation. Because one moment you're jacking it to regular human smut. You know, you Google big boobs, and then 5 years later, you've become so desensitized to all of the real world smut, you find yourself jerking it to a triple dick-nippled centaur with rotary blades installed into its spine with a dick the size of a mountain. Touch some grass, guys. Please, touch some grass.
Why in God's name is the art for this manga actually really fucking good? Dog fact
That's
number
called
2.
hoodwinking.
No two dogs' noses are alike. Many people have drawn comparison to Chainsaw Man, because like Chainsaw Man, the dog is named Pochta. Now, Chainsaw Man's Pochta has joined the shortlist of the highest commendation you can get in an anime. Being a good boy. Pochta, that's a good boy.
Who's a good
Ein,
puppy?
That's a good boy. Bond, that's a good boy. Nina, that's a good
You fucker, I knew you were gonna do that. I knew you were gonna do that. You piece of shit. How dare you? How dare you? Now I'm sad. I just gotten over this bullshit. I just fired my psychiatrist about a month ago. I thought I was over it. Oh, you brought these wounds back. PTSD Vietnam flashbacks, you piece of...
good girl. Inukai's Pochta is not a good boy. That's a bad boy. Bad boy. One could argue that in many ways, Chainsaw Man is just a day in the life of a dog. Here's Denji, who woofs for his owner, goes on walks, becomes one with Pochta. He got that dog in him. Then there's Inukai. Woofs for their owner, goes on walks, and becomes one with Pochta. Because she does.
Ew!
She got
Ew,
that dog
brother,
in. You may be
ew.
thinking Inukai is the outlier here, the freak who loves a dog a little too much. But of course, the show had to introduce.
She's the yandere that failed yandere school. This is Yuno from Mirai Nikki, only she got confused between humans and dogs. Ugh.
Introduce a full-on cast straight out of the watch list of your local animal services. There's the tsundere, Nekotani. As your resident tsundere ambassador, we do not claim Nekotani. She can go somewhere else. Tsunderes can be violent, unless those violence is towards dogs. The shy Usagi, a girl so down bad she makes the average Genshin player look like a functional member of society.
Oh my
Not just
God.
limiting it to dogs, she decided to force herself on a poor table, which depressingly adds inanimate
What?
objects to the growing list of things that have more riz than
Just get a fucking dildo, I swear. Oh, this... Okay. Who the fuck organically watches this anime? I know who. People that should be on a list.
weebs do. If I had $1 for every anime girl I've seen do unspeakable things to a table, I'd have 2, which is $2 richer than I want to be. Well, unless that's what you're into, I suppose.
I am the table.
Then, of course, completing the trilogy is the yandere, Inukai herself. We can already agree. Do not stick your dick in crazy, especially the kind that this crazy wants. While the rest of the world was asking, what the dog doing? Inukai was more concerned with, who?
The dog doing?
Dog fact number 3. Dogs may be able to...
Oh.
Oh, no. No. No.
Japan read that fact and was like, let's base a whole anime off of it.
No. Devious. If by some miracle you still don't know if you should subject yourself to 12 episodes of this, I've made a simple
12?
flowchart for you to follow. First, ask yourself, do you like dogs?
Who the fuck funded this? Like, does Japan have no board of directors that sits there and says, is this ethically allowed? I mean, it's just a cartoon, bro. It's just a cartoon. Oh, God.
If your answer is no, do not watch this show. If your answer is yes, do not watch this show. If you're looking for some kicks in life, here are some alternative suggestions. I recommend Overwatch.
If you've been jorking it to triple dick-nippled centaurs with rotary blades installed and a dick the size of a mountain, then this anime is for you.
Watching My Life as Inukai's Dog, skydiving, mountain biking, ordering the extra large portion in America,
Going to my stream, going to a Makari stream, joining Makari, do anything other than watch this anime.
tweeting out Chainsaw Man is mid, setting your notifications to vibrate, then putting your phone in your pants. All non-dog related activities that get the heart pumping. This is something that should be left behind in the bowels of time. In fact, as of this very moment, I am working on a time machine so I can go back and get us back on the right timeline. Because what hope is there left for humanity, knowing that a sentient human being wrote this? Then more sentient human beings made the conscious decision to greenlight.
Like, can we just own this fact that the people who write this kind of stuff, it's like a self-report of you being a person who needs to be on a list. Like, you come up with the note, like, if you hand a script to someone for an anime like this, the person you hand it to shouldn't be like, ah, yes, let's make that. No. They should. Sorry, that's my internal trauma escaping my body. You hand this to a person, and a rational person would look at it and go, okay, let's put that restraining jacket on you and put you back in a padded room. Yeah. Ugh.
Like this into an anime. And throughout that entire long process, not a single person stopped to ask themselves,
Right, that's
what
what
in the
I'm
biblical
saying!
fuck have we done? On the day of reckoning, when humanity stands before God Almighty,
But it's quirky
waiting for
because
our
it's a
final
cartoon
judgment,
and it's not a
there,
real dog.
standing
It's a dog
between
that's got a
us
human
and
inside of it.
salvation will be Inukai's dog. On that day, we will have to look up at God and tell
Nah. When the aliens come and inspect the wreckage of our society, they're gonna dig through the ruins of our civilization. They're gonna find this and be like, you know what? We were gonna resurrect the entire civilization. Nah, we're good. Nah, we're good. We're good. We're gonna go somewhere else. We're gonna go to Mars.
him that this is what humanity has done. This is what mankind has led to. The souls of all humans will beg and plead not to be forsaken, not to be rejected from the gates of heaven. But in the end, all we can do is repent and ask for forgiveness.
Oh my
from
god.
Forgiveness from each other. Forgiveness.
You know what, guys? I forgive you. I forgive you and the 4 people that suggested I watch this. That's 4 people too many. How dare you subject me and my live stream to this nonsense? How could you? Ugh.
From our dogs, which is more than we deserve. In conclusion, I'm a cat person now.
Well, that was certainly an experience, guys. I'm gonna link this in the stream. It's a good video. I like this guy's stuff. I'm gonna give him a subscribe. I'm gonna pop his link into the chats for you guys. Please go and at least subscribe to him because he's clearly gone through some trauma having to watch this. So we should at least support him. Go and like the original, and I'll see you guys in the next one because I need to go and phone my psychiatrist.